Let's talk about the dark side of Christmas when you share children with a controlling and abusive person. What should be a really joyous time can become quite stressful. And that's not because there's anything wrong with Christmas in and of itself. Rather, the behaviour patterns of controlling and abusive people tend to really be a lot more obvious, and there can be lots of other things going on that trigger them. Now, this is where we need to keep in mind that controlling people and abusive people tend to be quite emotionally immature. They tend to struggle to understand their own emotions in a healthy, mature way. And hand in hand with that, they tend to struggle to express and communicate and manage those emotions in a healthy, mature way. So what we end up with is an adult who is emotionally immature, who doesn't have a great understanding of their own emotions, and who tends to make everybody else around them responsible for how they're feeling. And at Christmas time, again, it's not necessarily specifically because it's Christmas. This sort of stuff can occur at Easter, anniversaries, birthdays, those sorts of things. But it's when there's extra stresses and tensions on the person who has those difficulties with their emotions. Christmas time in particular can bring additional worries about money. It can bring up issues, or problems rather, with extended family members. If there's problems with families of origin, Christmas time is a time when we're all coming together. There can be pressure to put on a bit of a picture-perfect facade. That can add additional stress to someone who already doesn't cope well with stress. And all of this sort of stuff can then bubble over. Hand in hand with that, controlling and abusive people can sometimes be wanting to maintain a particular image to other people. They can tend to be quite critical of their children and really place unreasonably high expectations on the behaviour of children when there's going to be extended family members present. Personality disordered abusers can also end up being a little bit resentful of the fact that it's harder to gain and maintain the control and the attention of other people during the festive season. Everyone's so busy, everyone's got a lot going on, and they can find that challenging. They can struggle with maintaining that focus from everybody else that they so desperately need in order to maintain that sense of self that they have, in order to maintain that mask, in order to have that supply of attention. And there can be a tendency to then create chaos and conflict and confusion because they want to still be in the centre of everything that's going on. They don't want other people engaged in, their other Christmas plans. Christmas time after separation and divorce can also be challenging for other reasons. It can sometimes be really upsetting to be sharing your children with the other person on Christmas. It's really common, whether we're talking about an informal parenting plan or formal parenting orders, it's common for the children to spend Christmas Eve and Christmas morning with one parent and the remainder of Christmas Day and perhaps Boxing Day with the other parent. That can be a really challenging time for parents as well to be away from their children. And this is where, if that's something that you're struggling with as a parent, not being with your kids, perhaps they're going to be spending time with the other parent for Christmas lunch, for example. That might be something that's weighing on your mind and something that you're upset about. And this is really where it's important for you as the healthy parent, the emotionally mature parent, that you really take responsibility for your emotions and that you think of ways that you can be creative and create traditions that can be shared with you and your children no matter where they happen to be on December 25. Because in the years to come, it's really not going to be the exact date that kids remember. It's going to be how they felt. And it's going to be remembering how you were. What was your behaviour like to them? Were you down in the dumps? Were you upset? Were you feeling disgruntled about the fact that you couldn't spend, part either Christmas morning or Christmas afternoon with them? Create your own traditions. Have a special Christmas dinner on a completely different day in December. Have it before Christmas if need be. The kids down the track are not going to remember the exact date that it was celebrated, but they will remember the occasion. They will remember the emotions. They will remember that connection with you. And that's the important thing. Hand in hand with that, if your ex-partner is potentially aware of the fact that you might be feeling a little bit upset at the fact that you're not going to spend that time with the children, it's really important, again, that you not take the bait if they try to create any conflict with you. Unless we're talking about an emergency situation regarding the kids or a last-minute change in plans, I really recommend that you don't respond to any messages that come through from your controlling or abusive co-parent. It's important that you're aware of this, and it's important that you're taking control of your side of the street. You can't control their behaviour, but you can control how you respond to it. And if communication comes through that does not need to be responded to immediately, then don't respond to it. To all the protective parents out there who are facing another Christmas with an abusive co-parent, I see you. You're doing a great job.
There's a moment where the noise stops landing, where the chaos loses its hold.
That's it for today's episode of the Post-Separation Abuse Podcast. If you found this helpful, you'll love the Post-Separation Parenting Blueprint, the foundation of everything that my team and I teach, now available to all protective parents. Whether you work with us one-on-one or navigate your journey independently, the blueprint is where everyone starts. Whether you're thinking about separating, in the early stages of separation, wanting to avoid your kids being trapped with unsafe or inappropriate care arrangements, or perhaps needing to challenge and change current arrangements, and even if you're currently in the court system for parenting matters. I created the blueprint as a gift to all of my fellow protective parent warriors, because the journey of being a change maker and a cycle breaker can't be done alone, and the blueprint is the one post-separation parenting resource that gets it right. Child development, safety and well-being put first, with the evidence to back it up. The blueprint gives you the same strategic frameworks that my team and I use in private one-on-one coaching, and it's available on an online platform for you to access whenever and wherever you need. You can also ensure that you're up to date with any new announcements by checking in regularly to the website danielleblackcoaching.com.au. Until next time, take care. And please always remember, you are your child's greatest protector.
This isn't revenge, this is design. A future rewritten line by line. You don't burn it down, you build it right with wisdom, strategy, and quiet.